steamship California. They only had one of them. So they couldn't really help out. Although the captain and crew of the SS California was really watching them. Were watching the Titanic. But they saw the flares, they didn't really think of it. They saw the flares, but they didn't want to go help. Not because they were being rude or anything, mainly because they weren't red flares. Red flares, SOS, need help, danger. So they could probably be having a celebration, like they could probably be doing white flares to give location or anything else different. Moving on to number 31. If we take every single first class passenger in the Titanic, at the time, that would be a $500 million of every single first class passenger on board the Titanic. And the Titanic cost $7.5 million to build. So that means all of their works could make multiple Titanics. Number 32. The wireless room got a message from the steamship Californian. Like I just said about the Californian. They got a message from the Californian. Well, so they got a message from the steamship Californian that said many things about iceberg warnings, but Jack Phillips at the time just was talking to someone else, a ship or a person somewhere else that was way far away. So since it was so far away, he had to put the volume of the Marconi system all the way up just to hear them. But since the California was close, he heard as a very loud ring. And then Jack Phillips responded with, keep out, just letting them know that they don't really care about what the SS California was saying, because he didn't really know what they were saying since it just came as a loud ring. He ripped out his headset and he just said, keep out, and he just kept telling the SS California that they don't need their help or advice. And the SS California didn't really even say anything back. They were like, wow, all right. They were just trying to be nice and everything, but if the Titanic wants to be like that, it's fine. He doesn't care. So then he shut everything off and went to sleep. Number 33. Due to the venting of steam in the Titanic, the passengers, the crew, the captain, everyone on Titanic had to shout in order to hear themselves. So, where was it? So this is red flares. That's the SS Californian. Alright, this is the one I was looking for. This is a Titanic venting steam from the boiler rooms to release out all the steam. And it was so loud that they had to put their hands on their mouths, like as if they were screaming through a microphone, and just shout and scream everything out. Just scream everything off the top of their lungs, just to communicate very well and being able to hear at least normally. And yeah, that was due to the venting of steam, which lasted about an hour. Number 29. Many third class passengers who survived, I'm pretty sure it applies to people who perished as well, said that even though these were poor conditions, they still liked it. And the poor conditions of the Titanic were better than at home. Although they had this one thing they had to share, one person would have to share with 3 other people, and they had this right here, just one little light. Although it doesn't really look comfortable, and it really wasn't that comfortable, they still liked it. Number 30. No, wait, no. Wait. Oh, sorry. So, that one was number 34, the third class one. This one's 35. Sorry, so there. So, number 35. Second officer Charles Lightoller said that when he went into the water, he was the oldest crew member, also, by the way. He said when he got into the water, it felt like 1,000 knives or also needles were going through someone's body, and that it felt so painful. He touched the freezing water, and he felt so much pain. And he's not the only one that says that. Other survivors also say that the water hurts so much. So number 36. Tilato was so close to going down with the funnel. So it says the Titanic's funnel falling down, it snapped and fell down. Alright? And Collapsible B was right next to it. It was inches away from the funnel hitting Collapsible B, the upside down lifeboat, and just the boat going down with it, or just being destroyed or something that could have ruined it. Although it was inches close, that happily didn't happen. It is a miracle that didn't happen. But it did wash people that were in the water and the boat away. Although that it did wash them away from a big splash, it was better than the Class B boat just going down with the funnel. Number 37. People say that John Jacob Astor the fourth, which is the richest person, could have been crushed with the first funnel, which is this funnel right here. He could have been crushed by the first funnel. And when they recovered his body, which was recovered, some say there wasn't bruises, but some say there was. Some specialists say that there were bruises from the funnel, and some say that they were not from the funnel, or they could have been something else. But most likely, he got crushed by a funnel and died. Number 38. Many people sadly perished due to hypothermia within about 15 to 20 minutes, or even less than that, from the freezing water. They touch the water, they feel so much pain, and then they perish from hypothermia, all going through their body. Number 39. 900 of the people who were on the Titanic were crew members of some sort. So, it could have been firemen, could have been those crew members, could have been lookouts, could have been anything else. Those types of crew members. And a few were just passengers. Number 40. Alright, number 40. Titanic's lifeboats were launched half empty, and more people could have survived probably if they were filled up. This is a lifeboat that looks half empty. I'm not sure if you guys can see it clearly, hopefully, but you could see right there. You could see right here where my mouse is at, a person. But you could see right here, this circle, around this area, and around this area, right here, that they were not filled up. They were half empty, or even less than half empty. Number 41. There were about 3,364 bags of mail on the Royal Mail ship Titanic when she sunk. So this is just a bunch of bags of mail, which were from like Queenstown. But there were way more. I'm surprised that could fit in those four compartments of cargo. So number 42. So number 42. There were 8 band members on board the Titanic, and sadly, none of them made it out. None of those band members made it out and survived. None of them. Which these are all the 8 band members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, like, so yeah. There are a lot of band members. Well, not really a lot. There's like 8. But they were to work on the Titanic. They were to work on the Titanic. On Titanic and everything. And yeah. No one made out. Number 43, by the way. The Titanic had 10 decks. It's not just 6 decks. I found out that people think that there's A deck, B deck, C deck, D deck, E deck, and F deck, which are A, B, C, D, E, F, which are just 6 decks. But in reality, there were actually 10 decks, right? 10. There was that A deck, there's B deck, there's C deck, there's D deck, there's E deck, there's F deck, and then there are 3 decks, which are furnaces, furnaces for, the boilers, boiler furnaces, for all smoke and everything. And then the final deck was where they shoveled the coal. At the very bottom, they shoveled coal, which they shoveled tons of them. 8. And now moving on to number 44. Boiler room number 4. It is said that boiler room number 4 could have also gone a puncture from the iceberg. So we know that there are 5 compartments that flooded. We know that on the 6th one, the 6th compartment, there was a gash there as well, but that was just a few little inches, not that much, and the water was just leaking in. It wasn't bursting out until the water pressure gave out, and then just started bursting out into the 6th compartment. But it's also said that in boiler room number 4, it also had a little puncture from the iceberg. I'm not really sure if that's actually true or not, but that is what sources say, and that's what people like to say. So number 45, Titanic watertight doors weigh about 1,680 pounds each, and there were so many watertight doors. These are watertight doors, the ones in the boiler rooms. You push a button in the officers' quarters, and they start closing. So yeah. Number 46. Titanic survivors say that they had visions of a disaster, and that they had visions of people drowning and getting hypothermia. Alright? Throughout the journey. Some before the journey. And the most craziest one is that survivors say that around the time when they found out that the Titanic was sinking, it hit the iceberg around 11:40. Survivors say that they woke up around 11:40, which is the time that the iceberg hit the Titanic, and they automatically just woke up, and instead of just waking up feeling tired, they woke up feeling wide awake and having visions of people drowning, the stern going down in some sort, and that there are people just in the water floating who perished, just floating dead in the water, which is just crazy. And number 47. The Titanic's double bottom was used for storage of ballast water. Number 48. Titanic had 5 blast pumps, which moved 4 tons a minute, 4 tons of water a minute, which were used in Boiler Room 5, which is the fifth compartment, which is one of the compartments. They were trying to pump out the water. This is what some sort of elastic pump. This is what they look in modern day. They looked a bit different back then and way bigger on Titanic. But they were separated in other areas of the Titanic. There could be across the ship, like somewhere in a boiler room that could be next to the stern, and other areas they're separated. There was only 5 elastic pumps which moved the 4 tons of water, and there was one of those pumps in Boiler Room 5, which they used, and then they started working together to try to get the others to try to save the Titanic, which sadly failed because later on it gave out and the water just bursted through, flooding the place in seconds. Number 49. The Titanic consumed about 600 tons of coal, or even more, a bit more than 600, probably, tons of coal per day. They carried somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 tons of coal. 6,000 to 7,000 tons of coal with them on their journey, on their maiden voyage to New York. Number 50. The crow's nest was around 15 meters from the forecastle deck. So, number 50. This is lookout, crow's nest, lookout area, or lookout to be. And this is the forecastle deck. That area right there, the lookout area, crow's nest was going right here, going straight up, and this is the forecastle deck. Number 51. Captain Smith was asleep by the time they hit the iceberg. When they hit the iceberg, Captain Smith was actually asleep. Which is, so this is Captain Smith, Edward Captain John, Edward John Captain Smith. And he was asleep by the time that the Titanic hit the iceberg. He was sleeping in his cabin, but he got woken, and he decided to investigate, and then found out that they were sinking, of course. Number 52, I think, yeah, 52. 15,000 men worked on the ship during its construction. 53. So number 53 was that the Titanic was built only for luxury, not speed, mainly just to compete against the Lusitania. Just to compete against the Lusitania mainly. Number 54. Titanic's lifeboats had about just a little bit of crackers, a little bit of water, blankets, and a spare lifebelt. Lifebelts and life jackets are not the same. Life jackets are, of course, what you see on Titanic movies and everything. Those jackets, those puffy white jackets. But life belts. So this is about what a little life jacket would look like right here. Something you put around your neck and everything to, stay afloat. And this is something that a lifebelt would look like. And the Titanic had a spare lifebelt for every single lifeboat. Number 55. People say that the last Titanic survivor was, Ava Hart. But to be honest, very good. But Ava Hart was actually one of the last survivors. She was one of the last survivors before she perished in 1996. But the thing is, she was one of them. The very last Titanic survivor was called Melvina Dean. She sadly passed away at the age of 97 on May 31st, 2009 on Saturday. This is the last Titanic survivor. And now in 2022, there is not a single left survivor. I see that people like to look up. When I usually look up Titanic photos to just look at, or I try to figure out about the lives of Titanic passengers and everything, and facts about certain Titanic passengers. Like, I like to study about Jack Phillips and Harold Bright or Captain Smith or stuff. I see that a lot of people ask if there are any survivors left in 2022, and no, the last survivor died May 31st, 2009, sadly. So, yeah. This is part one of a two-part series of 100 facts that people who don't know about Titanic should know. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for 25 subscribers. On my part 3 of Titanic facts not a lot of people knew, I was looking at it earlier and I broke 46 views on that. Thank you guys so much for that. Please like, subscribe. I hope you enjoy. And I'll try to get part 2, which is me starting from number 56. And I'm sorry this is too long. I hope you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful afternoon, night, or day, whenever you're watching this. And goodbye.